Aliens have invaded Earth. What jerks, right? Well, it's up to you and your XCOM allies to put a stop to them. XCOM The Board Game, based on XCOM Enemy Unknown, the awesome 2012 turn-based strategy video game, is here. It's from Eric Lang, kind of the hot designer of the moment, and what sets XCOM apart from most co-op survival games are two things. One, it has an app that is integral to the game. You really could not play the game without this app. It is constantly timing you and giving you pressure and giving you prompts and keeping track of the aliens and telling you where to put stuff. And the other thing is that this is a 4-player co-op game that each role is very, very specific. That the scientist can only do very certain things, that the commander can only do very certain things. Each role is not independent where they're doing kind of, here's what I want and I have some special powers. They are very locked into what they're doing and very focused on what they're doing. So that's really what helps XCOM stand apart now. The question is, does that make it a great game? XCOM requires this free app, which is available on iOS, Android, and on the web. So there's really no excuse not to be able to use it unless you're Amish. The app takes in information like the overall mission you're playing, difficulty level, and status of the alien incursion. It uses this info and some magic number randomizing to adjust your budget each round, surprise you with UFO sightings, aliens sneaking into your base, and secretly tick down your progress to unlocking the final mission. The app is awesome! No board game does anything quite like this. XCOM is divided into 2 phases. The time phase has the app quickly switching from one action item to the next, barely giving you time to breathe. The resolution phase has no timer, and that gives you plenty of time to roll and re-roll dice. And, get everyone killed. If you have less than 4 players, some will have to double up, which will certainly add pressure considering XCOM has some pretty time-sensitive challenges. The central officer is in charge of the app. He relays info from and to the app. He also sends satellites into space to fight orbiting spaceships. The commander keeps track of the XCOM budget and deploys interceptors to repel UFOs over different regions. The chief scientist researches technology, which is critical if you hope to stand any chance against the alien invasion. The squad leader deploys ground troops on missions and aligns the defenses against alien infiltration of the base. There are 5 different invasion plans from the aliens, and none of them involve just getting some taquitos. You choose the invasion plan, which has your final mission on the back. Don't look, it's a secret. Your goal is to survive long enough and complete enough regular missions to unlock the final mission. Complete the final mission before total annihilation and you win! Humanity is saved, the aliens get no taquitos, and all is good with the world. So here's how you can fail. This is the panic meter, and these outlines represent the shapes of continents you likely can't name correctly. Panic levels show how freaked out different parts of the world are. Yellow is the bread makes you fat phase of concern. Red is Home Alone level screaming panic. After that, it's total pandemonium, house on fire, get it off of me, get it off of me, we lost this country kind of panic. If 2 countries go ape panic, you lose. This is your base's health bar. Each round, aliens storm your base, and if you fail to fight them off, your base is damaged. Get all the way to here, and you guessed it, your base is destroyed. And so are humanity's hopes. So don't let the aliens destroy your base, okay? The first half of every round is the timed phase. The central officer is in charge here, informing people when to act and how much time they have left. Once the timer runs out, well, you have to move forward, and if, say, the commander didn't collect all the money for the budget, well, he's out of luck. Lots of stuff happens during the timed phase. The commander collects the budget, the scientist picks tech cards to research and assigns researchers, UFOs invade. Do you want to take money from the emergency funding? The central officer deploys satellites to shoot down UFOs in orbit. An enemy invades the base. The squad leader chooses a new mission to tackle. UFOs now are over North America. Another enemy invades the base. Scramble interceptors to battle UFOs over different continents. Deploy a squad to the mission. No, not the heavy. He can't even do the first task. Another damned enemy in the base. Are you kidding me? Deploy troops to defend the base. Oh, there's a crisis and the commander has to choose between one thing and another, and he has 5 seconds to pick already. Jeez. Don't forget to exhaust that ability that only works in the time phase so we can get an extra credit. Oh crap, did we just overspend our budget? Whew. Glad that's done. Once the time phase is over, everyone can dry their shorts and take a breather. You have all you need to resolve everything set up in the first phase. The first thing you do is perhaps the most exciting thing ever: accounting. Every soldier, satellite, interceptor, and scientist deployed that round costs a credit. Any leftover credits can be used to recruit new soldiers or interceptors. If you go over budget, bad news. Every credit you owe pushes the most panicked country one step further into chaos. Then you resolve any crisis cards. Yay, bad stuff is happening. Now it's time to roll dice. Lots of dice. Again and again. Though each player role has very distinct things to do in both phases, they all complete tasks in the same manner, rolling dice to give a 1 in 3 chance of success. You proceed as instructed by the app, but there aren't really any surprises at this point. It all comes down to the luck of the dice. Here's how it works. Whenever you attempt a task, whether it's killing an alien or completing an objective for a mission, you are going to roll 1 or more of these blue die. 4 sides are blank, 2 have success markers. Not the best of odds. You're also going to roll this rather plain looking 8-sider. This is the alien response. Bad die. Bad, bad die. This is the threat track. It marks the alien potential for taking you down during this task. If the alien die is equal or less than the threat number, all your forces are destroyed, or in the case of satellites and researchers, exhausted. As long as you haven't been defeated by the aliens, you can keep rolling success dice to try and win your task. But every time you roll, the threat level goes up by 1. Once you fail, well, there's no one left to get anything accomplished. In the resolution phase, the central officer battles the orbiting UFOs, the commander pits the interceptors against UFOs over any continents, the scientist attempts to complete research, and you really need the tech. Remember, there's a good chance of failure. Chances are, people will die. Interceptors will explode, researchers will fail, but as long as your base is intact and the world isn't in total meltdown, you survived and get to do it all over again. I have really conflicting feelings on XCOM. It is a brilliant, I think, brilliantly packaged game. It is, first of all, the components are amazing, the board is beautiful, the cards are great, top notch. Honestly, for the price, this is about as good as it gets. And I think the design is just, it's so wonderfully cohesive. Everything works well together, right? It all just makes sense. The scientist role, it just makes sense. The way the app integrates with everything, it works so well together, and it's so much fun to see the level of surprise, right? It's not just I'm turning over a card and seeing what enemy I'm dealing with. It's what is the app going to throw at us next? What is not being able to clear out all of the UFOs from orbit going to end up doing to us on our next turn? I think all of that stuff is really fascinating. The first half, the timed phase, is just as intense as it gets. Maybe as intense as I've ever had a co-op survival game, but that's also because you're under time pressure and you want to do well for the other people. You don't want to make a dumb choice as a scientist. You want to be able to do things that are going to help other people out. You don't want to be the one responsible for ruining the team. And really, I think everybody feels responsible for their roles, which I think is a great thing. But when you get to the resolution phase, I mean, you've already set everything out, you've done whatever strategizing you can do, and all everybody's doing is just rolling dice. And so from that moment of we're engaged and I'm active in the time phase, I'm like, when is it gonna be my turn? I gotta be ready to do it because I'm only gonna have a couple of seconds, to now it's take your time, roll. And I mean, we're talking about the scientist could technically roll 15 times if he never gets enough successes, right? And everybody else just sitting there watch him roll 15 times and the threat track's moving. That's not very interesting. And then you've got to think that now we've got to do it for UFOs, we've got to do it for all the interceptors, we've got to do it for the base defending and the mission stuff. And so as great as this is designed, it just becomes a slog. And no matter how quick and sharp you are at planning, the dice are just, the dice are just going to turn against you, right? That's just what dice do. And this is a 1 in 3 chance of actually rolling a success on the dice, and you can improve those odds, I guess, in theory, by adding more dice, though it's still only 1 in 3 chances on each die. But anyway, it's not that the game's hard, because we found the game easy. We breezed through on normal. We killed normal so hardcore and easy the first time we played it that I could never go back to normal. It was just way too easy. But it just, I have to be honest, it just didn't grab me. I think XCOM is a good game. It is a fun game. It is a game where if somebody came over and said, man, I want to play XCOM and let's go after on expert mode. Let's just see how far we can get. I'm in, right? I will never decline playing XCOM because I like the game. I think it's good, it's enjoyable, but it's not one of those out of the park, this is a classic, this is a game that I'm gonna buy tons of expansions for, this game is gonna be played for 10 years, the next 10 years, like, I just don't think it's gonna live up. XCOM the board game, it's okay. I think if you love the video game series, then I think you're gonna actually really enjoy it. It does have great moments to it, but to me, at least on normal, way too easy, and I think just the resolution phase just drags on a little bit too much. It just isn't as inspired as the timed phase of the game. So XCOM the board game, I'd say kind of buy at your own risk, but definitely if you are a fan of XCOM, I think you're gonna enjoy it more than somebody who isn't a fan.